All right. Season 4, episode 3, The Sunday Show. You feel my spirit? It's a little bit low. I need everyone to pick me up here. Because of what we witnessed yesterday. Not great at all. And that's an understatement. Not great at all. Listen, I went back and forth on how to title this one, Tony and Gary. I ended up with the Hills Arteta is willing to defend. I don't want to say willing to die on, but that's what it's going to happen, you know. Tony, thanks for joining. It's times like these, you know who your true friends are. They'll still keep coming on podcasts. They'll still join us in the chat room. But and if you're watching it on playback, you've unplugged from Arsenal. I understand. I get it. I unplugged for the last 24 hours, and I also like to do podcasts a day later because if it was yesterday, it would have been quite more negative than hopefully I'm trying to sound less negative today. Anyway,
everyone curse words.
So Tony, thanks for joining.
Yep.
Hopefully you're going to have some words of positivity at the end of the podcast. You've been starting to bring some positivity right at the end, but we need something up front, Tony. What have you got?
It's nice and sunny outside.
That's it, Gary. It's the weather. I think you're on mute, Gary, unless you know that yourself.
No, I know it. I was just somebody stepped in to say something to me. Positive, huh? Hello, everyone in the chats. When you join us, I know there's a different time, a new time for you, but yeah, we thought we might start a little early today. Positives from yesterday.
No, just really positives.
You know what? We haven't been relegated, so
yeah. Yesterday was not the last day of the season. It was not the final day of the season. And Gary, as if to add insult to injury, Tottenham go ahead and win again under Nuno. 3 wins on the spin for them, and we've got nothing. We got no goals, no points.
Yeah, they got 3 goals, 3 wins.
Yeah.
3 goals, 3 wins. So you don't need 3 and 4 goals to win in this league. You just need at least 1. So yeah, it is disappointing to look up there, and you know, does the team know this? Does the team know that their biggest rival is doing so well so early in the season? Yes, it's early in the season, and they will come back to earth like they usually do, but at some point that's not going to happen. At some point they're not going to come back to earth, and at some point you need to be there to to make sure they don't come back. We're not doing that right now. So this is I think the Hale End boys might understand this, but I don't believe a lot of the team knows how bad it is that team is sitting at the top of the league. It's not a good sign. It'll never be a good sign. And they're gonna be up there for 2 weeks. The table's not going to change in 2 weeks, and we're going to be last and they're first. This is something has to change. I don't think it will be as drastic as we want, but something has to change, and somebody needs to say it's going to change and actually change it. So we'll see. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling. The positive is that we haven't been relegated. There's too many negatives. We could spend all day talking about it, and we still wouldn't even touch the surface because this is bigger than 3 games of this season, right? It's it's been going on for too long. I mean, it's been going on for too long. This is years in the making, all right? Years in the making, and it's just continuing to go in the wrong direction.
People are using words, chickens coming home to roost, Gary, fail to prepare like we did this preseason and prepare to fail, and that's what we're getting.
Yeah, we keep talking about trust the process. We have a plan. Everybody's still looking for that. What is the process? What is the plan? Does anybody know? I don't think we're supposed to know, but we're supposed to see it. It should be easy to see. And we're not doing that either. So yeah, this is I'm smiling because we need to lighten it up a little bit, but it's What are you going to say? Everybody wants to say what they got to say, and it's probably not going to be positive, as much positive as you want. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I assume we're going to go through the game and go step by step through it and talk about it and see what happens there. Oh, look at this! Oh no!
Let me bring the.
I say oh no, just because I was just trying to be calm and collected, and now we're going to go to the extreme. Come on, Mahir, join us. Show your face. I hope he's got.
What'd you think of a game, Mahir?
Come on.
Wait, let me compose myself before I let out some words that can't be taken back.
Your honest thoughts now, Mahir.
Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. I was expecting that. I was expecting 8 games. Yes. I mean, 8 goals, 8 games. You see, these guys even make me lose my wording. Absolutely unacceptable. I mean, as much as I expected that, why in the fucking hell are you playing all of these players that are not... You're playing them all in the same squad. Kalisanak, Rob Holding, Callum Chambers. Oh my God, just throw William in there, why don't you?
Well,
man.
The only bright spot in the last 24 hours was Willian doing a pretty decent thing, realizing that the move to Arsenal had not worked for him. And, he wants to cancel his contract, which you're not going to hear that of that kind of thing in the modern world anymore. And that's a decent thing that we've heard in the last 24 hours in terms of good news. Willian canceling his contract with Arsenal because he does want to play football and be happy at Corinthians. And when all is said and done after the last year, after the last 24 hours of hearing that, we all wish him the best of luck. The move didn't work out. Arteta really, really did flog that horse for half a season. Really, really did try to make Willian work. And this is a flaw in Arteta as much as anything else as well. Being shown up here by Willian, moving on, cancelling his contract. As John here from Revenant FC says, Willian actually helped you guys out. He decided to rip up his own contract. So we do give him some credit here. And James is here. Congratulations, James. Top of the league, looking good as a Spurs fan. Hope you're all safe and well. Arteta out or give him more time. A lot of us are feeling that way, James, but I'm going to let everyone verbalize it themselves. Tony, let's get into this starting lineup because when I put it up here, I didn't highlight this podcast too much. I didn't showcase it because it's not a lot to be singing. I'm not singing from the rooftops here. I knew Chelsea and City would be difficult. I knew we wouldn't get very much from that, if anything. But it's not the losing, Tony. It's the manner of the losing that's troubling to me personally.
Yep, we looked good for 5 minutes, and the rest of the 85, we looked like complete shit. The lineup was totally wrong. If there was a go with that formation or anything close to it, he needs to bring Saka back as the left wing back. That works. I'd put Tierney as left center back. Definitely want to have Kolasinac in there. Definitely want to have Zaka as the holding midfielder. You'd go and put Sambi there. But I don't know why I experimented with a formation that we've never played with. He went with it for whatever reason. Players looked totally confused after 5 minutes, had no idea what they were supposed to be doing. The whole team looked like chickens running with their heads cut off. Just wasn't good at all.
Yeah, and it's, I've got E-Crow here. I didn't think Nuno would be the best appointment for Spurs, but he has put them in position to succeed, Gary. Arsenal fans are laughing at Spurs for getting Nuno now. That man knows how to organize a team. They kept Lee 3 clean sheets with Dyer.
And we could have had him last November, and he was
Yeah.
Spurs like 8th pick,
Yeah.
9th pick.
I mean, there are probably some fans that didn't want Nuno, but I personally just wanted a manager who actually had coached and had succeeded. You know, that's kind of what I felt like Arsenal deserved, at least a manager who had succeeded as a manager and had a style of play that they could take and use anywhere with anyone. Right, and that's what Nuno has shown. Right, he's gone
Looking
into
for
that
him right
team.
here.
He's replaced a couple of players. Right, but and he's missing his best player. Plays the best team in the league, and it doesn't matter. That's what Arsenal needs: a manager who he doesn't have to get a shopping list and fill out every item on the list just to get some performances. Right, that's what you get from any manager, Nuno especially. You know, his teams just didn't have the best players on them, and that's why they struggled to some degree. They had some bad luck as well, but all teams do. But yeah, he give me a manager with some experience, and I have no doubt the team would look better. Is it a long-term fix? Maybe, I don't know, but we're not. This is as everybody said, this is a project, and it's not the team. It should be the team, but it's not. It's Arteta. As far as the starting lineup, I don't think anybody looked at that lineup and said, "Yep, that's gonna get us something. We're gonna get some kind of a performance out of that." We picked, as you said, players that have failed for the team before. We picked players that it just does not work. They just don't work together. They can't get out of their own head. I mean, they want to leave. Players want to leave, and they're playing, right? They're on our pitch. How do you mentally? How do you say it? Because whenever we hear a player's going back and forth, like Harry Kane was going to leave, right? He wasn't really part of the team regularly, right? He wasn't in the practice squad as well. You know what? He comes back and he's still thinking about leaving. You're not going to get the best of your player, right?
Yeah,
we got players that said, "Get me out, pay my contract, get me out," and we're playing them.
We got people somewhere else where I'll feel maybe a little bit happier and I can accomplish maybe something else.
Yeah, you know, players. No, Arteta said he wants players that want to be here, and how many players have said they want to leave and they're still here? They actually said it. They reported it and they played.
Players that need to stay. That's what pisses me off so much. Players that he fucking wanted to stay. If I'm not, can you give the interview in Italian yet, Xhaka? Well, not so early. Not just yet. Not just yet. Wanting to finalize a move there. Fucking get him out if he wants to go play somewhere else. Then players that have never been fucking good enough for the squad is what pisses me so much. And Tony, he's begged these players to stay. We've said and looked at it. I've never once ever backed Xhaka. As soon as we didn't make the Kante move and bought Xhaka instead, I was like, oh fuck, here we go again. Yeah, mind my language, guys, but here we go. This is down the rabbit hole, and we just dug ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper. And then we brought Willian, and then we begged Bellerin. We put him on a new contract, and we gave the cup captain's armband and Kolasinac also playing. Why?
Yeah,
Lego binary. That's right.
Look,
Nobody did he answer the question of did anybody even pose the question to him? Why Kolasinac is starting? You know, he's not a center back, right? As far as I recall.
I mean, I'll have an answer, Gary, but I don't think you're going to like it. I have a theory that we're trying to shop window players before the transfer deadline on Tuesday.
You put Kolasinac in a game against the top team, one of the top teams in the world, and then said, "You know what? I need to sell him." Mm-hmm. How do you do that?
By showing he can run. He's fit.
By showing
that's the worst shop showing ever of all time, right? It doesn't make any sense, right?
Doesn't make any sense.
You put
your player
in a shopping window against the top team in the league, one of the top teams in the world, with one of the top managers in the world.
Legs.
And then said, "You know what? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
He
It
breathes.
seems it just.
He breathes oxygen. He's got 2 arms, four
That's
four
where it
fingers in
stops.
each
That's
hand
where
and
it
a
stops as a
thumb.
footballer. He breathes oxygen, and then after that,
Guys,
that's it. You can't compare him to another footballer
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
you would much rather put George Clooney as a centre back than fucking put Kolasinac, piece of trash.
and I, you know what? I understand Marie had a bad game the last game. This was a totally different situation. That game was more about that game was more about the tactics than it was that Marie had a bad game. You don't play Lukaku like that. And at some point, somebody need to tell him, stop it. Right? I think I even said this. What are you doing? Stop. That's not how you play him. You cannot play him like that. He's just going to throw you around like a rag doll. And that's exactly what happened. Right?
Yep.
Once he's got the ball, you come up and then see what he does. But once he's got you on his hip and he's got a little bit of leverage on you, you're in trouble. And that's what happened every time. You know,
Yep.
he can't play like that, and that's all about tactics more than he had just a bad game. Like not, you know, you give him different tactics, it looks different. Maybe they still score 2 because we're just not there yet, but they will have to work for it. They didn't really have to work for it. We kind of just gave it to him, and him falling on the ground basically epitomized exactly how that game went. He should have played in this one because he's a center back, and we're going to play 3 center backs. He should have played. You know.
Yeah, listen, we'll go through the formation very, very soon here. Gunnar Glenn early today, right? Question mark. Yeah, I'm playing around with the time. Want to know what's getting a little bit of feedback there.
Is that me or not? I don't.
But
That's Mahir going through his labyrinth.
Sorry, I'm just putting in tea. I didn't realize it was cold.
playing around with the time zone. Let me know what you think is right, Gunnar Glenn, in terms of the time, and see if you guys can figure out that feedback there. Revenite FC said, "Look at Rafa at Everton. He's off to a good start without his players. Amazing what some experience and a style of play can do." Arteta, before Arteta came on board, he was my nominee. I wanted Rafa Benitez, and you know, we're seeing now what a good manager will be able to do with Everton's a badly run team or club as Arsenal is, but if they get Rafa Benitez, they could change some things around. You know, we did finish above Everton, Gary, last season.
Yeah, but I mean, Everton, as far as I'm concerned, has done better in their, in their recruitment of managers. Even the last one and this one.
But it hasn't been reflected on the field.
It hasn't, but because I don't think that they had. Once again, they are light, right? They lost both their attacking players last season, and that's basically when everything seemed to just disappear, right? And then they lost James James was out for some time. So, and you don't have depth. It looks like that. That's what Arsenal looks like, right? You get our starting 11 in there, play them, and then you start picking them out for red cards, for injuries. We look exactly like that, and we just drop, all right?
Yeah.
That's where we are right now is what would happen in the middle of the season if we just lost Tierney, Gabriel, Partey. Lose those 3 players, we're in trouble, all right? White, boom, you're in trouble. I mean, there's 4 starters right there that you could potentially lose in a season, and we've seen it. So I'm not going to say we did better than them, yes. But I think they've done better with their managers. I would rather have, like I said, I'd rather have a seasoned manager than what we got now.
Yeah, I don't know. It hasn't been reflected on the field this season. You're going to see Rafa Benitez turn things around on the field with Everton and change their culture and their mentality a little bit. And we need to shape up. We need to shape up as well. Gunnar Glenn said he would have come to Arsenal before Everton with all the Liverpool hate. I don't doubt that. We probably would have come to London. Arsenal would have been an attractive proposition to Rafa. You know, we're saying there's not coaches out there. They're out there. If Arsenal have the balls to go and do it. Arteta's deluded. Have you heard his press conference? Gunnar Glenn, I think we were all on board in the early days, but I've stopped listening to Arteta. I've stopped watching those conferences because if you notice, they're getting shorter and shorter in terms of what we see. and this is
more
the
and more bullshit packed into it.
more and more
Yeah,
BS.
more and more of a comedy show. It's absolute. You know, like Russ's profile picture says banter. It's absolute banter. Who was I talking to? I was talking to a few guys. I was online playing a game, and then somebody said to me, I said to them, "Oh, you guys are United supporters. You guys sound like United supporters." And so I just said, you know what? Man City put 5 past an Arsenal squad. I don't know how they immediately knew I was an Arsenal supporter. I said, absolutely bugger all. And they were like, you support Arsenal, right? I was like, you cheeky little buggers.
It's funny because of the tears that were still on your face. You didn't realize you hadn't wiped them away. You were crying.
No, it's just comms. It's just audio. So like when we're playing, we can like communicate with each other, but we don't actually see each other on camera. But I was like, you cheeky little buggers. And they didn't even want to banter. They were just laughing. They were like, oh, shame. I was like, don't say, oh, shame. That's even worse.
Tony, Tony, so many different ways we could have gone. Let's take even if it's a 5-4-1 formation. I looked at it, it could be a 3-4-3.
5,
Let's
3, 5 at the back.
5 at the back. Let's take 5 at the back, Tony. What could we have done different there, Tony? There's a few different things we could have done differently. Namely, take Kolasinac out, put Tavares in there, put Kieran Tierney as your left centre back, right?
And take Zaka out as the central defensive mid.
Yeah, listen, let's fix the back 5 first, and then we'll get into midfield. What could we done 5 across the back? What could we have done differently?
I would have had Chambers at right wing back instead of Cedric. Cedric would have been on the bench for me. I would have had Mari. I guess you have to go with Holding if you're that have a back 3 since we're short. But Mari, Holding, and I don't know who else.
Just gonna mute Gary for a second, see if it is his feedback. If you can check into that. I think it's Gary with the feedback is coming out loud. So listen, I'll just.
Yeah, you could hear his ice chattering in his glass.
I'll linger with you for a second. Maybe it's my here. I don't know. Anyway,
it was Gary.
No, it's not me. It's not me. When I switched off my audio, right? You can hear a slight rustle, like it sounds like a fan of some sort, or like an aircon or something.
Okay, so Gary, what would you have done with that back 5?
Well, Holding and Chambers would definitely have played. Where that's to be decided. Kolasinac would not have played. Murray would have played probably in the middle. Like I said, I would have liked to have gone with a stronger team, so that would have mean Tierney would have come back and play in that back line, probably with those two, which Holding and Chambers.
Yep.
And then bring in Tavares, bring in Zombie. Cedric's out. Does Shaka need to play? Based on what he did, I don't know. I think we needed better. Zombie has been good from what I've seen. Otherwise, the front 4 is fine. Wherever we go with our front 4, we can go any direction, and it's not a big drop off like it is when you go to Kolasinac.
One questionable thing since you went into midfield as well. So let's just dive all the way in, Gary. Throwing Odegaard and Emil Smith-Rowe into midfield with Granit Xhaka, I think that unbalanced us quite a lot in midfield.
Yeah, he's not gonna. They've never done it before, and there's a reason why it should never be done again. He's not the right player, right? He's not going. What? Who's he replacing in that position? Partey? No, who's Partey's backup?
Lokanga.
Zombie.
Partey's out, right?
Yeah.
So his backup comes in. Yeah. That's usually how it works.
To my mind, yeah.
It is easy. I always say things are easy. It should be easy, and
we don't understand Lego binary, Gary.
Yeah, you go to a formation with Emil Smith Rowe and Erdiger sitting in front of him. Boom, you put in the backup because that's his position. He's probably played there. Xhaka is not. What is he? I still don't know what he. I know we every day we talk about what his position is, what his role is, and what he does well.
What does he do?
He passes backwards and sideways.
Yeah,
really
he has like the most passes. He's really good with his passes because they're not risky passes, right? You don't move the ball forward, so you barely ever take a risk. So they're always the safe passes, and all the safe passes do for me, anyways, is they just put more pressure on our defense. Which those three players playing in the back in that game, the last thing we want to do is give them more. Have them play, have to, actually have a perfect game. That wasn't going to happen, not against City. So, yeah, it was just a totally, I don't understand the reason. Nobody's going to ask that question of Arteta. Why did he go with that back line? Why did your backups not play in a particular game? Like, Tavares should have played, Sambi should have played in that type of formation, all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yep.
So,
so we've identified where the sound issue is coming from right down here. Listen, I'll clue you in, Mahir, when it's your time to turn. When it's your time to talk, I'll bring you in. Anything else, Gary, before I go to Mahir?
No. As far as the lineup, it was just poor. And if you are going to play that way, they need to know certain things. I don't think they knew what the expectations of them were in this particular game, right? And they needed some leadership on the field. They had none. And we saw it, right?
We're going to get into that leadership.
Yeah, we had no leadership on the field, and we paid for it dearly. The first 5 to 10 minutes, we looked like a team that was trying to actually, we had possession. We were actually moving the ball up the field. And then you're like, okay, can I get some more of that? Yes, it's going to come in waves, but now you have an answer to the problem of how are we going to move this ball into an attacking position on the field. So they showed that for 5-10 minutes, and then City eventually said, well, these guys don't want it. And a team can tell when you don't want it, because as soon as City decided, you know what?
Individual battles.
We're going to go ahead and take this game from you guys because you don't want it. And I have no doubt going forward, no team will kind of, how you say the first 5-10 minutes you're going to feel your way around. Nah, not going to do that anymore with Arsenal because you know what? One, they don't deserve it because they come out slow, or they come out and they don't actually finish people say finish your dinner. They don't go in there and attack and get something out of it. And then you're like, what are we waiting around for them to do something? They're not going to do anything. So then teams to start to put on their press. The thing about Brentford game, Chelsea game, I think it all kind of looked similar in the sense of the way they started. We had a plan, and then as soon as basically you get hit in the mouth, right? Everybody has a plan until you get hit in the mouth. Boom, game over. And we're basically laying on the canvas, getting an 8 count, right? Or standing up, getting an 8 count, and then on the floor getting an 8 count, getting back up, and still not knowing where we are. I mean, that's
getting an 8 count, getting up, staggering. Still stage struck. Let me bring in Mahir now. So you have to unmute yourself, Mahir. All right, buddy. So listen, in the back line, get rid of Kolasinac, make Tierney play left center back, bring in Tavares, get rid of Cedric, maybe, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles, bring in some other players, but this is crazy. No Lokonga in midfield, and our front four is pretty decent going forward, but you need a foundation to build upon, Mahir.
I don't understand how Lokonga has been our best midfielder. He looks the most comfortable, even with us just witnessing him now. I mean, literally playing and starting games. Hey guys, is this live? Yes, it is, Mr. Bungle. Shout out to everybody in the chats as well.
Impromptu live. I didn't advertise it, so come in, enjoy, share your thoughts about Arsenal yesterday.
You know what? I'm at a loss for words. Like I said, Lokonga's been our best midfielder, looked the most comfortable. I'm sure we all can agree. The best midfielder in the past 2 games.
Didn't play on Wednesday, Mayer. Did not play on Wednesday. I thought that would be a clue to him playing on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you could take clues like that as well, but like I say, this clown does not know what the F he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. And you know what? You know what's the biggest domino effect to all of this? If they renew and give him more faith and more money and in order to rebuild this squad, our young players are going to leave us. Trust my words.
Mm-hmm.
We're already in the mud. Let's get this right. We're already in our grave. We're already in the mud.
The Revenite left a message here. 130 million spent, and we're still playing Kolasinac, Holding, Chambers in our back three, irrespective of Gabriel or Ben White being injured. That's still happening. We don't have strength.
I told you how I'd spend 150 and getting 6 players. Realistically, these are all realistic signings. The only I don't even have any hope. I don't think we're gonna get any players before Tuesday. We're not gonna get any players in before Tuesday. And if they make,
no, they're waiting. You wait and see. They've been waiting for this fixture to be done, and they're gonna surprise us with something.
Shock us with 3 signings, minimal, because you guys have ruined our club so badly. You need to shock us with 3 signings and 3 big names. I'm not talking the Messis and the Varans of the world. I'm talking about 3 quality midfielders. And realistically, right now, Gary, I mean, the names I was looking at for 150 mil, right? It was like 6 players. I'm talking about Bazuma, Madison, Neves, a Sabitzer, an Awar. That's a complete midfield. You worrying about?
Yeah, I was just adding all of that up, and you got close to 150 million there.
That's literally Ben White and Ramsdale, a keeper that's been relegated 3 times, 2 times out of 3 times in the fucking championship, and Odegaard who's not good enough.
And look, I understand what you're saying with Ramsdale, but we have to at least see what he's going to give us. He's given time.
I know it's not his fault, but what I'm saying is they're ruining our club by doing like this. Because then, on top of all of that, then you've got Xhaka who's been given captain's armband. Oh my God, that is so disgraceful. To think of, you guys remember all our old captain, the good old days, the real Arsenal legends of the club, and like even our strikers and stuff, like the Burkhams and the Tony Adamses and the Vieiras, and imagine how embarrassing it is to be a former legend to watch your club that you played for with your heart and your soul till there was blood in your boots, to see Xhaka and Almini in our midfield starting week in, week out, and Bellerin on the right hand side. Oh my God. I don't even have any anger anymore. It's so much better. It's so much better, guys.
As Ross says here, Arteta's told Kolasinac is no longer part of his plans. Yet he favors him ahead of Marian Tavares, a joker. So, Tony, I went like 35 minutes here, and I'm almost afraid to, because this is not the reason why we lost the game. Almost afraid to talk about the officials, but we have to point out the official was correct in sending Granit Xhaka off. Granit Xhaka is a player who has no football intelligence on the field. He can't take a temperature of the game and understand where the referee's at and how he's feeling on the day, because every game's different, right, Tony? The referee's different, the circumstances of the game is different, the temperature of the game is different. And we saw Granit Xhaka was sent off when in the 36th minute. After 35 minutes, you can't tell me Granit Xhaka didn't know how the referee was calling this game. And to jump in like that, 2-footed into a challenge, you're inviting the referee to, first of all, think about giving you a yellow and then change his mind again and give you a red. But
I think he just pulled out the wrong card for the first time.
Yeah, and you should know where which card is in which pocket. as a
Yeah, but
referee.
Zaka, since he's joined us, he has the most red cards in the league. Since Arteta joined us, we've had 10 red cards, which is the most in the league. We're undisciplined around him. It's not just on Zaka. Even though Zaka's a clumsy idiot, Arteta puts out their players like Zaka, like Luis, that has those mistakes in them. There's 8 red cards in between those two players right there. Not sure where the other 2 came from, but
David Luiz 3 times, Gary.
4
Oh.
times. 4 times.
4
4
times.
times.
Wow. But at least David Luiz provided leadership, and
That was more than he had all of his time at Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's indicative of the team as much as it is about him as well. But I think that's more the team. All of this is everything we're seeing is all of the basically all of the bad play of any of our players is exasperated when you see them on the pitch when they put on that red shirt.
Yeah.
So any like we always say, anything that bad could happen when it happens. I mean, Partey can't stay healthy. Gabriel injures himself, and he's before he even plays in the Olympics. White, COVID. I mean, everything. It is always something, and part of that's bad luck. Part of that just where we are as a squad going through this. I like you said, I like Luis. I think we're gonna miss him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the leadership is on the back line is something that we're gonna miss. He helped get those players along.
As you know, Gary, I have a theory that Granit Xhaka is holding Kieran Tierney back in what his rightful place will be in terms of being captain, being that voice on the field, and being that voice in the dressing room. I think Xhaka is taking all of that air away from Tierney.
Arteta's doing it, not Xhaka.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's an Arteta is not helping his cause because this is a team for the future. Xhaka is not part of that future. Arteta might want him to be, but that's not the way it's going. Not with the youth on the team, right? You're like you said, like I think it was who said it? I think it was Mahir. At some point, these young players aren't going to stay.
Yes, Mahir said that.
Yeah, they are not going to stay. They 4 years from now, they will be worth the most money they will ever be worth, probably. And guess what? They won't sign. Arsenal will have to let them go because it makes no sense unless something drastic changes in the next year, within the next year, meaning like tomorrow, right? Because it's not, they're going to go through another season like this, right? And then like 2 years left on their contracts. I'm not going to sign up for this again. I can go wherever I want. I'll just play this out. And they will play it out, right? They will play it out. It will be in Arsenal's best interest to sell them sooner than later, right?
Oh, the narrative will be we can make 80 to 100 million.
Yeah.
It'll help the team. We'll reinvest it, but will they reinvest it?
So instead of like, so they'll sell those players, but they won't change the makeup of the team from the top down. It'll be the same thing. So all they've done is fill the pockets of the owner, because eventually they are not going to spend the money that they make off the players. Right now I think they are, but the intention, well, they are, but they're not, right? All this money is money the team's going to have to pay back. It's not the owners providing any support. All right. Yeah. It's going to be painful, and that's why you need somebody who can come in and play with the players you got. Make them, you want somebody who can overachieve with the players that you have, as opposed to underachieve.
Maximize what they're giving you on the field.
Yeah, return on investment is always got to be high, right? So you get a player that's at a level that comes in and gives you 5s, and a new manager comes in and gives them 6 and 7s consistently, right? No matter what.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing that, as we said a little bit earlier about Rafa Benitez at Everton. Stephen, I wasn't truly too motivated to do this podcast, but you got to be in for it for the good days and be in for the bad days. So I didn't give you a heads up, Stephen, but you get the notification and you're here. Mr. Bungle said, Kevin Campbell said, it doesn't matter what manager you get the same results. No,
I don't. I see. That's the part that
Mr.
I don't.
Bungle disagrees.
No, yeah. See, the thing is, a lot of times everybody says it's the players. It's the players. So the manager has no. What is a manager for
It's
then?
both. Yeah,
If
it's
it's
both.
always the players, that's the problem, right? They give them instructions. The players go out there, and either I always say it, right? I say it all the time. Either you're coaching it or you're letting it happen, right?
Mhm.
Because I don't believe what we're seeing out there from this team is what the coach wants, right? Does he want Xhaka going in 2 feet on a tackle when you're down 2-0, right? And you're in the middle of the pitch and you've got support behind you? There's no reason to do that. No, he
Crazy.
doesn't want that, right?
Yeah.
But the players are doing it anyways and not getting punished for it, so they'll just do it again.
And not to excuse what Granit Xhaka did, but the lineup left Granit Xhaka with a lot to do in midfield by himself.
He's a leader. No, you're making excuses for him.
I just said not to excuse.
No, but you are. By just saying what you just said, you're excusing him. No, you're a leader. When he plays, we know when he puts on the red shirt of the Swiss, we get a totally different Xhaka. He puts on the red shirt for Arsenal, we don't get that guy. Right? And where's Arteta? Arteta should be telling him, when I watch you play for your country, why don't I get that? I pay you. Right? I'm your manager. I pay you to play for me. You go play for the Swiss, and you're out there doing what you need to do.
Many would say it's because he's not alongside a player like Koopmeiners, the Swiss midfielder that he's partnered with. Stephen wants me to give him a good day, and we're already waiting for it. We are too, Stephen. Unfortunately, we have to wait 2 weeks, and it will be a must-win game against Norwich. Will be a must-win game. Any other result than that is untenable territory, as if he's not already in untenable territory. Mr. Bong said Arteta would average at best. Why would they look up to him as manager? And I want to ask the question that has he lost the players, Tony? As I give my hero a chance to swallow his food there. Any manager pedigree would get more out of this squad of players. Tony, have you seen any signs that he's losing younger players?
I think seems like he has more of a younger players than he does with senior players, which is kind of weird to me. We're sitting here 20th going into the first international break. If we were ever to lose players, it should be now, but he seems like he does have support of
Tony,
players.
Let's run through some of the records we're breaking, and they're not good records, Tony.
I don't want to go through. Do we have to?
Sure, yeah. Biggest loss in 7.5 years. Only 3 other times have we not won our first 3 games in the season, and I've muted my hair, but you can read his lips. He's saying no. 1921-22, we didn't win our first 3 games. We finished 17th. I know that was a century ago. 1923-24, probably some rough years there. We didn't win our first 3 games. We finished 19th in the league, which back then was good enough just to not get relegated. I think it was 22 or 24 games, 24 teams in the season. And Tony, 54-55, we lost our first 3 games and finished 9th. Can we better that this season?
No. Not with Arteta. This is the first time we've done it with no goals.
No goals. And yesterday, a paltry, I think, is it 18% possession? Probably even less than that.
And 1 shot on goal.
Yep. You got 8%. Yeah, okay. I love it when Gary gets hot.
Yeah, no, I think it's easy. What needs to be
done? I think Gary's
like
lukewarm right now. He hasn't went
out
on the hot streak yet.
Gary, why doesn't Arteta play to our strengths? Any other manager would come in and play to whatever way he gets the best results until he has the personnel in to change the system. All of us fans, we can see it as well, Gary. Why can't he see it?
Because as people said, he's stubborn. He thinks he's mini Pep, right? He thinks he's got De Bruyne on his team. He thinks he's got Ruben Diaz sitting on the back line, and he thinks he's got, all these players on his team. He does not. Think about it. Foden supposedly is the best new talent in England, right? When everybody compares, they always say Foden, Saka, Sancho, any one of those. Saka has to play. Foden doesn't. that's the levels that we're
Because
at.
we need Saka to help the
right?
team.
That's the levels we're at, right? One of the best young prospects in English football has to play because we got nobody that can take to seat him from that spot, right? We lose him, we lose a lot of good performances on the pitch. So and that shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't be depending on your 20 and 21-year-old players, and then when you have a big game, decide to lean on your more experienced players, and guess what? They fail, right? So now you did nothing. Once again, it's a loss, right? We'll take losses, right? But we don't take it's whether the process is working. We just can see it. The planning coming into the match actually is being implemented. They just couldn't feel it. There's got to be some heart in there. These players are they playing with some heart? No. Any sense of urgency here? No.
I'm telling you, Gary. I'm telling you.
Think about this. Leno makes all these saves. We keep saying he's a really good shot stopper. We needed more from him yesterday. He did give us one, but when you give up 5, it doesn't count, right? It doesn't really show up, right? If it was one of those points where we lost 1-0 and he made like 5 saves, you're like, yes. But yesterday, we needed him to make stops when our defense let him down, right? And he didn't do that. And that's why I always tell you every time, at some point, he's going to have to make that save, right? That save. The defense falls, a clear header comes in, he gets a hand on it and pushes it away. He has to make that play more consistently for it to work, right? He's not doing that. And so that's why I think it's not, once again, why would you spend all that money on a starting goalkeeper and then you don't play him and you don't get rid of the other one? Who does that? Right, and nobody believes Ramsdale's coming in to sit on the bench.
No, not at that price.
So if he's coming in, he should be 1 playing, 2 you should be getting rid of the goalkeeper that you got. Right? The same thing happened right with our strikers. You spend all this money on Lacazette, and then what? 6 months later, you spend more money on Aubameyang, same position, back to back. Within a 6-month period. Who does that? Arsenal, right? They spent almost $100 million on the same position in less than a year, right? These are just the things that now they're causing problems. Now it's months and years later, and there's still a problem because you haven't gotten rid of one of them, and one of them should be gone because that's a lot of money allocated to one position, right? So it's a total it's just really, really poor. And look at that, we got Sam in the house here.
Directing traffic.
Sam couldn't stand just listening to us anymore. He wanted to join.
Catch up.
Sam's in the flight control.
Stephen Denham said, Ray, any other manager comes in would have loved our attacking players. We have a good selection, yet with Arteta, we can't score a goal, and it is very worrying. We are bottom of the league. Yeah. For 2 weeks, next 2 weeks at least. It's our youth that's carrying the team. If it wasn't for them, we were dead last season. More experienced players go missing or just don't care. The attitudes are all wrong.
Think about it. It's the youth of the team, players. And this season, he's depending on his senior players, right? He doesn't win because he's not. He's depending on his senior players, and the youth are the reason why he's got this job, and the reason why Arsenal has some good things coming. Hopefully, right? Sambi comes in, does a really good job. You know what? You're gonna sit. Tavares comes in. Yes, they've got some pluses and minuses in their game. Sit. Right?
There's only one Arteta. Unfortunately, Arsenal have got him. Revenant FC, I agree. Dave, there's a team, Liverpool. We wish we could follow in their footsteps. So sad to see an iconic club like Arsenal so far off it, Sam. Big Sam in the place. It's Stephen.
You up, Steve?
We're going to get Sam's soapbox.
I don't want to start. You guys have probably gone through all the trauma and everything. I'm not going to relive all of that. I've got Gary's show tomorrow to relive all of that, to go through all of that again. Don't worry.
We're going to be positive tomorrow, Sam. So get all your negativity out now, and tomorrow it's just going to be all. No,
positive. You guys. I'm pretty sure you guys have gone through everything. I'm not going to go through everything again and start again and all of that. No, I don't know what guys you guys are exactly talking about. I'll probably just follow on from there. But I just want to, Russ, he loves to have a poke at me about Ødegaard, but Ødegaard was still one of our better performers yesterday, whether you like it or not. The whole team was crap. The whole team was crap. Honestly, let's be honest. Leno was probably the only guy to come out of it with something halfway, I don't know, worthy of a plus, I don't know, score or whatever, if you want to call it, on a scorecard. The whole team was crap. Ødegaard at least had a lot of good, decent passes I saw yesterday anyway. Not anywhere near his best performers or near where he should be, but he was playing out of position. Come on, Russ. He was playing out of position. He was playing as a deep 8 next to Xhaka, and that's not his role. That's not where he's supposed to be, Russ. So Russ just gets this. Russ just got this whole Ødegaard thing, and he's up his arsehole, and he needs to get it out.
I'm going to go to Tony.
Can I say something real quick? You said I don't think Leno had a good game.
We had a couple of decent saves.
But I need him to make more.
Well, but who had a better game then? Who had a better game?
Nobody.
I think it's hard to
team ratings.
pick one.
The highest one.
That's what I'm saying. Leno didn't have a good game. Don't get me wrong, Gary. Leno didn't have a good game, but for me, he was probably our best player, and that says everything.
Okay. All right. The best of the worst.
Team rating I seen Leno had a
best out of a crap bunch.
I don't think Tony is going to be handing out any man in the match awards today. There wasn't anybody that held themselves in high regard. But Tony, I want to go to you. You've been asking for this. Formation. You wanted to play, a central midfielder with 2 8s ahead of him. That's what you got.
Preferably with a back four.
You can't bring that. You see,
Ray.
I definitely did not want Granit Xhaka in that position.
Ray, listen. If you're going to play that formation with 1 pivot and 2 8s, you need to have a proper defensive midfielder. You can't have Xhaka.
I never thought
that ruined everything. It was terrible.
You think it would have been any different with Partey in there, Sam?
Pardon?
Would it have been any different yesterday with Partey in there?
A fully fit Partey that we saw at the beginning of the season,
and 2 8.
And with not necessarily 2 8s, but you have Partey and you have a Smith Rowe and an Ødegaard ahead of him.
Yeah, they would be 2 8s in that formation.
Well, you'd use maybe Smith Rowe as a 10 and Ødegaard as an 8, basically. That's the way I would go. But you would have with 1 pivot. You wouldn't have 2 pivots. A fully fit Partey would do a hell of a lot more in our midfield and do a lot more. We might still have lost the game because Man City are a Man City. They're a fantastic team. They got world-class players, 3-4 deep on the bench all over. But at least we would have given them a game. I think we would have probably done a lot better. But the team selection yesterday was just wacky. I mean, fucking Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
Kolasinac.
He did it again, Sam.
Why did we buy Tavares? What's the point of buying Tavares? Mm-hmm. And you're playing a player who you tried to terminate his contract not long ago and sell him to fucking Fenerbahce. And then now you're playing him all of a sudden against City. Chambers. Chambers. Why is he playing Chambers in that role? Chambers it doesn't play in that role.
Ray's just
very well.
Throwing gasoline on the fire and going, why is it so big?
And if he plays Xhaka in like a deep defending role, like a deep sitting role, who needs to press and tackle midfielders. We saw the tackle Xhaka did yesterday, right? It was a 2-footed lunge. That's a tackle he managed yesterday. Because as usual, he's always completely well out of sync and well behind everything. Mm-hmm. It's just listen. If you ever needed incontrovertible evidence that Arteta has no fucking clue what he's doing, is just to look at that lineup yesterday, look at our tactics, and even throughout the game, this is what I've been saying, he lacks the fundamentals. even throughout the game, he couldn't change anything. We saw out on the left how wide open it was. And even then, he couldn't change anything or do anything. He can't adapt to anything. The guy is just completely incompetent. He might have loads of good ideas up here, and he might be able to say loads of magical things to the board members. But when it comes to actually doing his job, he just can't do it. He really can't.
Yeah.
He eats lots of Lucky Charms like Ray does.
Sam, what is Granit Xhaka good for? He's got the highest number of red cards here.
What is Xhaka good for? That's the eternal question, isn't it? What is he good for? You know, it's
He's good for slowing the team down.
Not for playing for Arsenal. That's for sure. He's got the most mistakes that leads to goals in Premier League history. He just keeps getting yellow and red cards. He's always slow. He stops play. He's just completely out of sync with us completely, and he just.
And our
Lokonga, and then you got Lokonga, and you got Sambi, right? He's just had 2 good games. Who was actually brought in to back up Partey.
Yep.
And then you don't even play him in that role. You play Xhaka because we all know the guy loves Xhaka. He's in love with him.
Yeah.
What they call them is they call them Xhaka sexuals. I think
Xhaka sexuals,
sexuals, Larin Belen sexuals. They need to all fuck off with him when he goes, please. But I can tell you, I can back up Xhaka or answer you guys. Sam, I can answer your question. What Xhaka is good for? Absolutely nothing.
Xhaka. What is he good for? Absolutely nothing. Look at Russ trying to back up his mate Xhaka again. Listen, Russ, it's dangerous play all day long, Russ. It's dangerous play. Look it up in the rules, the laws of football. Dangerous play, 2-legged challenge in modern football. Maybe not in the 80s, but in 2021, 2-legged challenge is dangerous play. It's a red card.
Yeah,
it's a red card offense.
If you look at other games where it looks
We've
like
seen other
similar,
games.
But listen, don't talk about other games. This is what pisses me off.
The reason why I'm
Don't
bringing
talk
it
about
up.
other games.
The reason why I'm bringing it up is because of the inconsistency between the game
Yeah,
where
but
the game is managed.
what can you do about that?
No, you
What
can't
can
do
you do
anything
about
about
that?
it. So that
Highlight it.
To keep
I'm
doing
on
the
your
challenge,
side,
it's
Sam.
fucking
I'm
Ray.
saying
End of
many
story.
will say, but I saw something else the other day and it wasn't called. And I was like, yes, because that is kind of where the state of play right now.
Who found a red card?
What was that
Did
foul on
100%.
there was a foul on, was it? I can't remember now. There's so many games going all the fucking time. But there was a foul that I wanted to highlight. There was a red card. Someone stamped on someone's leg. And it was it Ed Nketiah got, was it a red card for or whatever the people say should. And the same thing happened. And this guy got a red card this weekend or this past weekend. And no one highlighted that the referee got that one right. Because so it's only an agenda when we feel it's an agenda, right? When referees are getting things right, it's like, oh, okay, listen, these guys are humans. They're shit. They're crap at what they do, but they're humans. They're inconsistent, right? That's the thing. And what I think the referee got it right yesterday. It was a 2-legged challenge. It was dangerous play. You look at the laws of the game. It's a red card. Now, if another referee doesn't do that, that's the other referee not doing their job. It's not an agenda.
You're absolutely right, Sam. But look at the 12th minute, the second goal. Laporte puts his hand in Chambers' face.
Chambers,
then,
listen.
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
then the 28th minute, Kolasinac does the same thing on Jesus, elbow to the face, gets a yellow card outside the box. No disallowed goal.
I just need to put this abundantly clear so everyone understands it. We have the advantage of using, first of all, hindsight. Second of all the different fucking reverse angles and replays in the world afterwards to analyze everything afterwards, right? Yes, you can talk about VAR and the use of VAR, but now they're actually trying to rein in the use of VAR and only use it when they feel it's absolutely necessary. But now afterwards, we can analyze every tiny little thing.
Yeah, but
you got to realize the referee there and then, we don't know how much he saw. We don't know how much he saw. We don't know who saw what. This is the thing. It's so easy afterwards to say this.
No, Sam.
Listen, let me just finish my point. No, let me finish my point. With the Chambers one, yes, you can say technically it's a foul. Yes. But look at what Chambers did. Chambers made a huge meal out of it. Instead of taking it like a fucking man, it wasn't that hard.
No.
Instead of taking it like a man, he went dropped to the ground like a sack of potatoes.
You got hit in the face twice.
It was a
Look at him. Look at it in slow motion. He gets touched. He's looking around, and then all of a sudden he drops like a potato. Yes.
No.
He could have taken that.
And Sam, the referee had the benefit of watching it on VAR.
Anyway, who gives a fuck? Who gives a flying fuck? Because we still lost 5-0. Is this the hill you want to climb, Ray? You want to climb the referee hill?
No.
So why are we fucking bothering about it?
Okay, tell me this. Does anybody believe we could
The referee is not our problem.
No.
The referee is not our fucking problem.
No, think about this.
No,
Does anybody believe we would have lost 5-0 with 11 players on the pitch?
Yes, probably.
No VAR situation.
We still lost the
card.
game.
Yeah, we would have still lost.
Everybody came into that game thinking we're going to lose, and it wasn't going to be pretty.
You can't condone referees making
No.
mistakes.
But what I'm saying is, so you save a goal, you save a goal here, you save a goal there, you still lose 5-0.
Lose, but that's two different
the red
things.
card. The red card didn't stop the 5 goals from going in.
No,
I'm telling you that much.
I agree.
Right. So everything about the score line is basically probably true, right? So we can't say, because this is how the laws of football work in different ways, right? You save a goal here, you give one up there, right?
Russ, does Russ watch other football games? I just want to ask Russ, does he watch other football games? Because I see referees make mistakes in other games as well, but all he ever talks about is Arsenal. Yeah, I do. I do see referees make mistakes in other games as well. They do many times. But all we ever worry about is when it happens to Arsenal. It's like it never happens to anyone else. When it does, it happens to every other team. They get controversial decisions against them. It happens. And here we are talking about a fucking referee and Chambers getting flicked in the mouth or whatever it was, flicked in the face, when we've got much, much bigger issues than that.
Sam.
We've got much bigger issues than that to worry about.
Bernd Leno in the first game against Brentford, are you going to commend him for not falling down there?
I didn't see all of that because I didn't see the whole game in full.
The first game of the season, that Friday night.
I only saw extended highlights. I didn't see the whole game.
Tell me this much. Why, when he's getting held like that, does he just stand there and take it?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we seen this happen? A goalkeeper is clearing the space, get away from me, right? And we see it all the time. All the big goalkeepers say, you know what? I need my space. As soon as a player gets close to them, they push them away.
That's what Leno's crap.
But think about it. He's got a guy holding on to him, and he's just standing there. And then you want him to get the call. You're not going to get the call because they don't see it, and they assume
exactly. These professional players need to understand. These professional players need to understand. You have to play to the whistle. You have to play to the whistle.
But Sam, you're not being consistent. You're complaining about. No, you're complaining about Chambers falling to the ground, and then you wanted Jack and Nutt.
Because I think he could have stood up and taken it and not laid down because there was no whistle.
Like Leno did against Brentford.
I didn't see that. I told you I didn't see that.
What do you mean against Brent? What did he do against Brentford?
I didn't see that Brentford
what did Leno
because
do
I didn't see the whole game. I didn't see the whole game against Brentford.
You're asking me, Gary?
Yeah.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bernd Leno did not make it obvious to the referee that he was being pinned and fouled.
Exactly. So why does he expect to get it?
But
exactly.
First of all, the goalkeeper's always protected. The goalkeeper's always protected. He can do a lot more than what other outfield players can do in the area. Second of all, Bernd Leno's a big, strong guy. He should be able to fucking do better than that, right? It's from the way I'm hearing, the way it's happened. Third of all. Would it have changed anything? We were crap against Brentford. Would it have changed anything?
Sam, it's two different things. Arsenal have to do their job, but the officials also have to do their job.
So the officials are shit. The officials are shit. Let's move on.
Do you just accept it? Do you just accept it and move on?
Because what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it, Ray?
I think
it's highlighted every week. Every week it's highlighted.
Yeah. I think what Sam is trying to say basically is you've got command as a goalkeeper. The top keepers create space. Like say,
exactly.
Listen,
they push everyone away from them. Leno's weak.
I said
Leno's
all
weak
of
in
this.
the
Nobody
area.
listens to
Yeah,
me.
Gary, I was listening to you, Gary.
Exactly what you
I said I was backing up what you're saying. I was backing up what Gary was saying.
I'm just highlighting it because if he knows, I mean, decisions are made like that in a split second. So make space for yourself if you're a commanding keeper, not a weak-minded fucking mentality keeper, rather than waiting and expecting the referee
I just
to
gonna
make a
close my
decision.
door here, so the neighbours are gonna start knocking on the door soon.
Because you're shouting so loud. Gary, there's three incidents.
Especially
The 3 league games we've had so far, Gary, there's been 3 incidents like this, and the various Arsenal players have acted completely differently, but the result has always gone against Arsenal in those various instances, right? So the first one against Brentford, Bernd Leno stands up like a man. He doesn't show, well, maybe he doesn't act like a man, right? He doesn't show his physicality. He allows himself to get pinned. He's not clever enough there to either stop being pinned or to alert the referee. We wanted to do one or the other. Either be strong or show the referee you're being fouled. Fall into the back of the net. Give the referee an opportunity to make him speak.
Okay, right.
Hold on a second. The second incident at Chelsea, Pablo Mari falls like a rag doll against Lukaku. Doesn't get the call. Okay, that's fine. He was very weak in that situation. Third one, Callum Chambers or Rob Holding gets a fist into the face, Gary, and he falls down. The referee looks, they all look at it on VAR. You got 4 people looking at it. They all decide it's a legitimate goal, Gary.
You're not get one. I feel you're not as a team. We're not getting get any respect from anyone, be it VAR, be it the other team, be it the fans from the other side. They don't care. We're not getting any respect. But guess what? A team does. Guess what? The Arsenal used to do. They used to go out and get theirs. Right? Used to go out there and get it. Right? You hit me in the face. Guess what? I'm getting you back. Right? All right. You hold on to me. I'm going to clear your space. But let's go through it. Right? Leno's getting pinned. He doesn't realize that his whole back post is unchecked. There's nobody there. Right? That's on him. He's got to make sure his goal area is prepared. There's somebody on the front post, on the back post. None of that stuff happens. Right? He doesn't do that. He doesn't command his space. He doesn't communicate. And he lets himself get trapped. Boom, done. Second, what is this? Pablo Mari? He knew coming into that match how physical this game was going to be. He knew this, right?
Yeah.
And everybody outside of Arsenal club, in terms of the fans, and knew that if you're going to play Mari, you got to play a certain way, all right? He didn't do that. He got punished.
Leno
he's going to get beat up,
right? I just want to say Gary is right in everything he's saying. Gary is bang on. Leno has become, I don't know, he's terrible in his area. He doesn't command his area. He doesn't command his area. He doesn't communicate. He seriously lacks that coordination with his defense that he should have. You know, that's as simple as that. And we can argue about referees all fucking day. It's not going to change what's happening to Arsenal Football Club.
We're all in agreement to that. We probably would have lost 5-0. But Sam, you can't dismiss referees.
I don't like poor refereeing decisions. For
me,
me,
say, oh well.
Yeah, but yesterday was right. Yesterday, the decision on Xhaka for me was completely right. I didn't have anything against that.
Yes.
For me, the one on Chambers, yes, it was annoying. I would say maybe yes, okay, maybe we should have had something there. But what consequence would have had for the game? None. No consequence.
You want the officials to be consistent, Sam.
But we're looking at all the wrong things. Why are we caring about the tiny little things like that when we obviously have huge issues that are much worse than what the officials doing? Because at the end of the day, Ray, if you actually went in detail and looked at every decision, whether it's correct or not, right, in every football game we play until the end of the season, I'm pretty sure you'll find it's pretty balanced. Pretty balanced when you get towards the end of the season.
Does everyone else believe that? I don't believe that.
I do believe that. I do believe it balances.
I thought early in the game there was a two-footed challenge that did not get called.
Because we're gonna have games come later on where we're gonna have decisions go our way. That's gonna happen.
I thought Kolasinac early in the game put a 2-footed challenge in. It didn't get called early in the game. I believe that happened. I believe I saw. Why wasn't this one called? Right, similar thing. And so, we're not losing these games by small margins now. Now we're not. Now we're just getting totally blown out.
Yeah.
Last season, maybe. This year, not even close. We're not one red card, one VAR decision away from winning a match. We can't even. We haven't scored a goal. We haven't had a VAR situation, turn away goals, and that's why we're struggling. It's a total. We need all the help in the world, and we're not. The team needs to give it to themselves, right? You need to play for yourself, and you make those opportunities.
And Sam, I want to tell you, before he came on, I said I had the dilemma. I told the guys, I don't even know if I want to bring this point about referees because you know what? We are shit. We lost 5-0, and it didn't change the result. We would have lost 5-0 probably if Granit Xhaka stayed on the field.
Yeah.
So Leon Chardo's here. What's the point talking about a referee when the team is full of shit and conceding 5 goals? I completely agree with that. We are shit, but we're going to play Norwich in 2 weeks in a must-win game, and I have no confidence in the officials calling the game.
You know what? We're not going to lose because they're officials. We're going to lose because Norwich sees a mark. We're the mark, right? When they come into that match, they see a team that is going to lose to them, right?
Do you know what happens?
They don't see
often?
a team that they might have to win. No. They see a team. You know what? When you go through the schedule and you look at teams and you say, all right, where are we going to get a win today? Right now, everybody in the championship, in the Premier League, is looking at Arsenal going, I got to win there.
Do you know what happens very often? The teams at the bottom of the table get a lot of things go against them. That's what happens very often. The bigger clubs at the top of the table often get things go their way. That's what often happens. Yeah. And studies have shown this. There have been studies in Germany, true studies that show this, and the top clubs get more decisions go their way than the bottom clubs overall. So, there is bias. There's that bias there in the referees' heads. Unfortunately.
Meyer, you wanted to jump in. Good point, Sam.
No, I just wanted to say, do you guys think it's acceptable as an Arsenal supporter to hope Norwich spanks us if Arteta is out? Because we've had a special guest on here in season. I know. Sorry, Gary. It's a weird question. I just asked because I've seen an Arsenal fan who is actually a special guest on our show in season 1, the beginning stages, that made an explosive video saying, you know what, wow, Guan, I hope Norwich pull our pants down and have their way with us so Arteta can get the hell out of our club, and then all the absolute crap players or shy players go with it.
Well, I think I know what you might be talking about then, Mahir, No, I don't think it's acceptable to hope that Arsenal lose.
No, none of us do.
Tony?
None of us do.
None of us do. It's just, I just happened to ask because the video. And I mean, he's also a passionate Arsenal supporter, so.
All right.
We've got a bottom of the table clash, folks, against Norwich.
Yeah, a good old 6-pointer.
A good old 6-pointer right at the bottom of the table. And imagine if we lose that. Wow.
Sam,
wow.
We just had a good conversation, Sam, you and I and Gary, and I think Tony and Mahir were witness to it. So, listen, we can survive that. We can survive anything, right, Sam?
Yeah, just don't talk about referees.
I'm not going to. It's Martin Atkinson, and yes, they are a shit show, but you have to highlight crap when you see it. And
our crap is
our
crap's all over the field at the moment, and it starts with the manager who keeps choosing players no one understands why they're playing.
So Sam, we can surmise from the team lineup here that Granit Xhaka is a first-team player. Had an opportunity to bring Lokonga in instead of Granit Xhaka, and he brought him in. He brought Granit Xhaka in over Lokonga, who didn't play on Wednesday.
Yeah, because Xhaka's his boy, right? Xhaka's his boy. That's it.
Yeah,
that's his boy. He'll play left back. He'll fucking play him up as striker if he has to. He'll do that. He'll play no matter what. That's Arteta's boy right there. Is Xhaka.
Leon Chordo, I don't know if you were on Thursday night's. If you watched Thursday night's podcast, we were doing names, Arteta names. So we had, what did we have? We had Napoleon Bonaparteta was one of the best ones. So he said this process is called Arsenal legation. Spuds could be 15 points above us. Yeah.
Spurs are top of the table and they're just doing it easy. Just doing it easy. Nice and easy.
I don't think Arsenal will, as bad as we are, I don't think we're going to be in the championship.
But we could get close.
Yeah, it is hard to pick three teams that are worse than us right now, Sam.
Well, statistically, something I'd like to raise right here, because just to get ahead of Ray and the way he thinks.
We mentioned it already.
We just, because I haven't been here, I haven't seen it, all right? So I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. So I'm going to get ahead of Ray here and the way he thinks. So I know one of the questions going to come up is, where do we think we're going to finish at the end of the season after these 3 losses? Well, I can tell you statistics can show us roughly where we're going to be. Because 7th is the highest finish a team has ever managed after losing the first 3 games. Ever. That was Aston Villa.
It's
Arsenal. It's 7th in the 98. No, it's Aston Villa in the 98 to 99 season. It was Aston Villa. They managed 7th place after losing the first 3 games. That's it. So statistically, it doesn't look good, does it? Because this is the problem with losing 3 games. If you've lost the first 3 games, the chances are you're going to lose a lot more games throughout the season. That's just the way it is. You're not very good. So, I think we might, unless we get someone in now who can drastically change everything and just really start doing the things we should be doing from the basics up. If we're sticking with Arteta for a while, and if we don't bring in someone who's drastically going to change it, I think we're going to finish bottom half, somewhere maybe even close to relegation this season. And that's the way we're looking at the moment.
And Sam, you're right. You're exactly right. I did cover that earlier. Went through Arsenal the last 3 times in their history that they've lost 3 games. In the first 3 games, it was 17th, 19th, and 9th place in the 50s. So, yeah, you're right. It doesn't make good reading, and it doesn't augur for a good season either. But we have to start against Norwich,
Yeah, exactly.
Norma said, unless we get
Brownie, this goes back well before then, mate. This goes well before then, Brownie. This is top division. The team that lost the first 3 games doesn't finish better than 7th.
Brownie's records only go from 1992. You're both singing from the same hymn sheet, though. Unless we get PSG owner rather in charge, Arsenal will still be a mid-table team, because now transfer market depends on owner's investment, not a self-sustained model. And Arsenal is well behind the curve. 7th will be the 7th wonder of the world if Arsenal does it. It's
only happened once, Leon Chardo, so the chances of it happening are very, very slim.
Yeah, but I wonder if Aston Villa played the best 2 teams in the land in the first 3 games as well. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't really think that matters, to be honest.
All right.
Our start wasn't that
He's
hard.
continuing making excuses for where we stand.
I know Ray. He's got these straws, and it's just I want to hold on to these straws. I need to hold on to them.
Because what? Also, remember, Sam, we are still in preseason. When we come back from your international break, then the season really kicks up, and that's when the points actually count.
And we need to remember the season doesn't actually count until after Boxing Day, because it's only the second half of the season that counts. You've got to remember that.
But Sam, September 11th is going to be the new December 26th.
We all know what happened on September 11th. We don't need to talk about that, do we?
No, we don't. But football speaking, it will be.
If we lose against Norwich, right, which will actually give actually separate us by what, like 6 points or something, or at least 3 points.
3 points, yeah.
From the bottom. I mean, that is just. I don't know what to do then. I'll just. I don't know. That's the time when you just start, You just start pressing all the alarm bells and just hoping for the best and calling Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. You know.
Ravenite said Ray is Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz. By the way, he's hanging on to those straws there. I'm just being the balance on this podcast here, Ravenite, John.
I don't want don't be the balance. Just give me a different solution to this problem we have, which right now is Arsenal. All right? Tell me how you would fix it. Don't tell me. Don't try to. You can't play the other side because the other side is nothing on. You don't have any footing to stand on the other side. There is nothing
I'm holding
there.
on to Gary. I've got one chip left, and you guys have all the chips on the other side of the table. I've got one chip left, and it's going to be what happens after the international break.
What happens then?
We play Norwich. That's what's going to happen.
So everything's going to magically change with Norwich? Arteta's going to suddenly realise what tactics are?
You know what, Sam? All of this talk will go away if we start winning games. Yeah,
but you need to. Yeah, but the guy needs to do. The guy needs to understand tactics to do that, right? How are you going to win games with Kolasinac and fucking Kolasinac playing? How are we going to win games with him playing?
Yeah, I can't defend that.
So, come on, Ray, wake up, smell the coffee.
Good
Shall I tell you something else interesting, guys? In the entire English football pyramid of the English Football League of 92 teams.
We are 92.
From the top to the bottom.
We're 92.
There's only us and one other team.
Yeah,
Shrewsbury Town.
Yep.
Who haven't scored a goal yet.
They scored yesterday, I thought.
Did they score
yesterday?
I thought they won
2-1 or something like that. Unless I looked at the wrong team.
Sorry, I'm just saying. It's okay. If they scored yesterday, it's my bad. But I just know that until this weekend, it's only been us and Shrewsbury who haven't scored yet in the entire 92 teams in the English Football League. So, go us.
Yeah, listen, it's not good enough. Nine goals conceded.
55 shots against in 3 games, and we've created 9 chances.
Yeah, they scored 2 goals
Gary's
yesterday
right,
against Gillingham. So we're number 1.
Did Shrewsbury score now? Did Shrewsbury score? Oh, we're by ourselves. We're the worst. That's it.
No, we're the best. We're the best worst team, Sam.
We're the best. We're the best at not scoring, Ray.
We're
the best at not scoring.
Yeah. We're good at something.
Yeah, I knew there was something.
I had to look that up.
I knew there was something.
I had to look that up as soon as they posted
I want to go to your place.
As soon as they posted that, you go look at like an hour later, boom, we were number 1.
Yeah.
Mahir, I'm going to bring Tony and Mahir in as well here. Unmute yourself there, or are you gone, or whatever happened. Leon Chardo, good to see you around here. Hope we see more of you as Arsenal cruise up the top of this league, up past 7th spot. I'm debating whether to have a little bet. Well, I think we're having a little bet, right, Sam? Arsenal, I think we'll finish 7th or above. You going for below 7?
Do you seriously think we're going to finish 7th or above? Are you saying that as a serious?
Yeah.
You're saying that seriously now. You're not saying that tongue in cheek.
Are we getting a new manager tomorrow?
I believed we would finish top 6 this season.
Now. Do you believe that now?
Yeah, because I thought we wouldn't get much out of Chelsea or City. We're 3 points down from.
Do you know how mathematics works, Raymond?
Yeah, I do. There's 105 some points left to play for.
Yeah, right, okay. So the highest a team has ever. So we have to break that record, basically.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna have to do. Mathematically, very, very slim chance. Very slim chance.
Ravenite thinks I'm crazy as well. Arsenal finishing 10th at best.
Well, you're a bit like Comical Ali, aren't you? The tanks are rolling into Baghdad, and you say, "We're going to win the war. We're going to win the war." USA are crushed. We've beaten them. Oh, I have to go now.
Ray, the reason you have 1 chip left is because, like Arteta, heaven knows what you were saying, but no one is doing it. You tremble. I really believe that if Arteta he can't get out of the way, right? But we have a decent team if he can just get out of the way.
Arteta
keeps showing you. He keeps showing you. He keeps showing you. He's like, yes, that rain is yellow, but it's really water. It is. It's water. It looks yellow. It's actually beer. But you know what? Don't sniff it. It's yellow, but it's actually rain. Don't worry about it.
Gurrid Line is following our airlines
Pull up,
mantra
pull
here.
up, whoop,
Pull
whoop,
up, pull up.
pull up, pull up, whoop, 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 pull up, pull up.
Maher, what do you got to say, Maher? Jump in there. Help me out, please.
Help you out. Nobody's going down that rabbit hole with you.
All the alarms are going, and Ray's like, "We're all okay. We're all okay here, guys. We're okay."
Meanwhile, the rest
Tony,
of us grab our parachutes and head
Maher,
out.
go ahead.
Yes. So what you need help with, bro? I'm here to help.
Just listen. Stuff like this from Stephen. Love you, Stephen. The only chip Ray has left is on his shoulder.
That's fantastic. I love that. That's brilliant. Big up, Steve. Big up, Steve.
But like I said to Sam and like I said to Gary and Tony, these people are Arteta sexuals. I did leave in the chat. I did say all of them need to go with him, and everybody that's backing this PR process need to also fuck off with him because there is no process. The process is going to land us so deep in the mud that we are never going to be able to get back. And where this stems from is the Cronkies hiring a yes man, because let's face it, that's what they wanted. They wanted another yes man, and that's what they got in Arteta. Arteta wasn't even a good player. Not even a good player. He was he was a sharp player.
He was, yeah, he just kept things
Decent.
ticking over in the field.
Yes.
He wasn't an
Ray, I
exception.
need to ask
You
you
said he
a
was the
question.
metronome of a midfield, right?
Ray, I need to ask you a question.
Brownie's asking me a question.
I said, Ray, I need to ask you a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Right. So, at the end of last season, right at the end when we finished last season, if I had told you that we would be starting this season with Kolasinac and Xhaka, what would you have told me?
I would not have believed you.
Right. And yet here you are, still backing this manager, right, who's making these decisions. This is up to him now. This is not out of his hands now. This is up to him saying, I'm choosing these players over other players. That's what he's doing now. So there really is there's no recourse. There's no excuse. There's nothing left. There isn't.
Ray's still
Unfortunately.
defending his hill no matter what happens.
No, you're right. I mean, Kolasinac coming back into the team, not. And this is why we didn't do a pre-game podcast. I knew this shit would happen a Saturday morning, Gary.
You should have done it because that would have been at least I would have got something out of that. Getting up early in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
I love the assembled.
This one. Ray, if you just give me your address, I'll send a couple of my friends to fit you with that jacket. Extra long sleeves. You can bounce around the padded room. Oh. And look, I think this team can win games.
Solskjaer's doing well now, isn't he? We've got to hand it to him.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a plan, and it might not work all the time, but he's got players, and he's putting them in positions to succeed, not positions that they cannot succeed in. Not asking them to do things they can't do, right? I mean, it's really easy, right? It's really easy, right? We needed backups last year, right? We said we needed a backup for Partey, a backup for Tierney. Did we not do that? So when Partey's out, his backup comes in, right? We all said Partey would play in that formation, all right? So if that's the case, his backup should play, all right? If you go 3 at the back and Tierney's going to be one of your center backs, then Tierney doesn't play in the middle, so maybe you bring in Tavares because that's where he would go, right? All these things are simple things. You just do it, right? You shouldn't need to go, well, let me think about this. No, you did all these maneuvers for a particular reason. Ramsdale is your starting goalkeeper. How many more games does he need until he gets the game, until he gets the shirt?
He's getting closer and closer.
No. How many more does it? He shouldn't have needed any. He was ready to start the season. Right, he was only sitting because of contract talks. Right, as soon as he comes in, he plays. Right, when Erdiger was coming in, as soon as he was ready to play, he played. Right, what difference here? Nothing. Play him. You spent almost $30 million on a player not to sit on the bench. Leno wants to stay, so be it. but guess what? This is my starter. That's why I went out and spent all this money. All right, you play them. So these are simple things you do. All right, it's why you bought those. You got those 3 players to play when their number is called, and he didn't do that, and he paid for it. All right, Xhaka, Kolasinac won out. They wanted out. They were happy going to Roma. They wanted you to pay off their contract so they could leave. One, their head is not in it, all right, because they're already thinking about leaving. Let them go. All right. If you don't want to wear the shirt, you got to go. All right. If you don't want to play right back, Ainsley, you got to go, because that's where you play for Arsenal. Everybody in the world says you play right back and you get games every game.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody. There's not one person in the Premier League going, you know what, Maitland, we got you in midfield. Nobody is saying that, or else they would have picked him up already. These things are easy, man. Stop it. He's making it so difficult, and he's going to lose his job, and he's not going to hit these heights again. He is not getting a guy. He's not.
You know what I find crazy? I find crazy that we spent. I understand, and I remember Gary was big on this during the transfer window, and I agree. We need depth in the squad, right? That's something we've needed, right? We do need to have good options when we have all these injuries and stuff happens, rotation and all of that. When we've been in Europe, we do need to rotate players. So I'm all for squad depth. That's good to have. And yes, I think we've done a lot now with our squad depth. And we've spent 130 million, basically a large amount of money on squad depth. And that's okay. But what's not okay is not spending any money on actually improving the first 11. That's what's crazy for me. I thought when I started seeing these reserve players coming in, like Tavares, Lokonga, even Ramsdale was said, more like for the future type of thing. You could maybe compete this season. I was like, okay, I'm okay with that because these players make our squad better. But then I was like, okay, but now we need to bring in the big boys. We need to bring in the players who are going to come in and improve our first 11. And that just hasn't happened. For me, that's just crazy. We spent 130 million on depth in the squad and nothing on the first team. It's crazy. And then if that's not enough, our absolutely balmy nut job of a manager has then had the gall and the tenacity to not even use these players he's brought in. Him and Edu have identified these players, Tavares, Lokonga, and he's not even playing them.
And Sam, they've played better than the established players in their position.
Lokonga has looked fantastic in the first 2 games. And yes, I understand you don't want to blow him out too quickly. You don't want okay. But he could have handled this 3rd game now against City. He could have handled. And yes, he probably would have had a tough game. It would have been that would have taught him how to play football against the best midfield in the world, right? That would have been fantastic for him. But he's not even playing players. He's identified Lokonga, identified Tavares, but no, I'm going to go with Xhaka, who, as Gary says, doesn't even want to be here. And then I want to use Kolasinac, who was this far away from getting his contract terminated in the summer. Mm-hmm. It's just I couldn't make this shit up. It's that bad.
It's almost like he's thumbing his middle finger at the club and saying, "Go ahead, sack me. I'm going to do this." And you're right. We have
no, he's just that fucking ignorant, right?
A lot of that 130 million did go to 50 million went to Ben White replacing David Luiz, and 30 million of that went to establishing Odegaard as a.
But we did not improve the starting 11. We still all those 80 million doesn't improve the starting 11 from last season. It doesn't. It's not really. It's not a good point. It's not a good point, though.
I'm not making it as a point. I'm being misrepresented here. I'm saying we spend 80 million, just stay where we are, pretty much.
Guys. On the first team.
And
the rest on depth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we needed starters in certain positions, right? We need a starting right back. We need a starting center CDM, right? And right now, it looks like we need a starting striker.
I definitely
at least 3 positions. 2 definitely, right? The right back and the CDM, we definitely need that, right? We don't have them, so you take that 130 mil and you buy 2 players and fill those 2 spots. I think we look better than we do today. At least we have starters, right? You start with your best. This is the same thing we saw at the end of Wenger's days. I always said to myself, why don't we just play our best 11 players, put them out there? It doesn't even, at that point, to me, it didn't really matter what position, because guess what? They were footballers. They would be able to play, right? You put Saka right now, Saka can fill any spot for me right now. And he'll do a decent job, and you won't take a big step back. So there's no reason why you cannot say, you know what, I can't play Saka today because I'm going to have to play him at left back or right back or whatever, because he can play all of those positions. So there you go. You've got your right back right now if you want to put Saka in, so you can put a different front four in. You don't lose much. You actually gain more, right? Think about it. We're going into international break. I need to get something out of this match. Let me put my best 11 out there, right? Put my best 11 out there. Put Saka at right back. Maybe he'll wake up from the shaky start in the Chelsea game or whatever, and then say, you know what? Let's go. Let's try to get something out of this match. Guess what? If it doesn't work, we got 2 weeks to put the bandages on our wounds and then come back ready to go again. But we don't. When's the last time we put our best 11 players on the pitch? Never. We never do that. Somebody's always sitting on the sideline watching the horror show. All right? Nah, play them all, man. It can't get worse.
Yeah, and then you got the Arteta fantastic strategy of you take the player who's been in the best form and then you bench him.
Bench him again.
Like what happened with Pepe last season. Pepe finally started to show some form. Then he got benched. Same with Lacazette last season.
He was sick.
Showed some form, got benched. Oh yeah, he was sick, but the club mate specifically said he doesn't have COVID. So what was that? People talking about this club policy of not talking about COVID because they just did.
Privacy laws and all that stuff, right?
So they just breached that with Pepe to clarify it's not COVID, right? So this club, I tell you what, it's being run by a bunch of fucking morons. It really is. I can't get my head around what has happened to Arsenal Football Club. It is just full from top to bottom with clowns. Yeah. It's clowns. It's the blind leading the blind. I just can't get my head around it. Even the PR team, it's just, I just don't know what's going on. We need a complete overhaul.
Maher, jump in.
Did you guys see the tweet Mesut also put out?
Yeah.
Trust the process.
Trust the process with a broken heart. That was bitter, wasn't it? That was just being bitter.
Yeah. Ultimate. That I was like, we done here.
And you want to know why you don't get a call in a game? It's because you got former players doing that to you. All right. Nobody's giving you any respect. Your Arsenal, the Arsenal is not here today. Right. Wow. You're just the Arsenal Football Club, and guess what? We don't care. We don't care. That's what people are saying. They don't care.
Gary, if anyone was going to drag us out of this, it would be the younger players. But
they don't even get on the pitch, so
do you know what?
The young players could do it, but they're not allowed to play. They don't get any confidence from the manager, so it doesn't matter, right?
Personally, for me, the 130 million, I would have gone out and bought 2 or 3 players who would improve our first 11, and I would be using Guendouzi, who would definitely be a decent backup for Partey at the moment in that type of role that he was used yesterday. Guendouzi had a very good game. I didn't see it, but there were a few people who told me yesterday they're watching the game. They watch the French league a lot more than I do. They said Guendouzi had a very good game. He was commanding in that midfield and he scored a goal. Saliba also had an amazing game. He had a fantastic game in defence for Marseille. And here we are using Chambers, who is just not good enough in that position. He just isn't. He's not up to it. And you've got Holding, also not up to it. And we've got Saliba, this huge talent, who's doing really well in the French league, who we spent 27 million on, and we don't even have him at our club.
He should have been bedded in at least the season now.
He should be playing this season. He should be playing now. He should be getting a game ahead of Rob Holding.
Yeah.
He should be getting a game ahead of Rob Holding. And then, for me, I'll be spending that money, and then I'll be using the likes of Guendouzi, Saliba, and I will be using Aziz. Aziz is a fantastic football player. He's going out on loan now to Portsmouth. I would give him the chance. I would give him a chance, just like we did with Smith Rowe, just like we did with Saka. I would give him a chance because we all know as fans where we are as a football club, and I'm sure they would love to see them given a chance than fucking Kolasinac or fucking Xhaka again and again and again. These are the things we do. We have the players we can sort of bring in and use that money on on players that will improve the starting 11, and then we can use the likes of Guendouzi and Aziz as backup. That's what I would do. But no, we've got to spend 130 million on the backup that he doesn't even use.
Leon Chordo said if younger players could do the job, all teams would be playing their youth squad. But we do have some very, very good talent coming through. Problem is we don't have experienced players that are going to help them in situations like
problem is we don't have a manager that trusts the young players.
Yeah. Unless you're an exceptional talent, Tony, you don't get into this team.
It's Bungle. I love Bungle. He always brings in the crazy.
I was going to skip that one, of course.
Well, I just want to very quickly answer Russ. No, I'm not saying White isn't an Alden starter. He's got a lot of potential. But I'm saying that game yesterday, when White wasn't available through illness, I would rather have seen Saliba given a chance ahead of Rob Holding. That's for sure, or Chambers. Because at the moment, for me, neither of them are good enough to play at that level for me. But definitely Rob Holding doesn't deserve it. I think Chambers deserves it slightly more than what Rob Holding does. But Saliba, I would have given Saliba that chance all day long yesterday. And Marie at the moment just needs a rest. He just needs to rest and regroup because he's become terrible. And we just need to let him rest for a while, let some other players take over for a while, hopefully bring him back, see if he can maybe improve again. If not, Marie's another player we need to get rid of.
Something is going on with Saliba. We will not know until the sands of time have drifted away, and we'll find out later. But there's definitely some reason why they're not using Saliba. We're not privy to. We don't know. Maybe it's Arteta. Maybe it's his ego. PG Nez said Guendouzi has started 2 riots in 2 weeks.
He hasn't. There's been part of them. There's been part of it. He hasn't started.
He didn't throw the bottle that almost hit the player that basically then the player picked up and threw back. That's not what he did. He wasn't that player, but he was definitely not. He wasn't stopping it for sure. Yeah.
But have we lost a little bit of that, Gary?
We're missing fire. None of these players that want to play for the chest, right? They want when the fans are screaming at them, they're like, "Yes, let's go." Where do you see that? Never. A team just scored on you, or a team just got something off on you by the referee being a donkey. Guess what? You're like, no, we got this, and then the fans are booing. You're like, no, don't worry, I got you, I got your back, right? We don't have that. The goal goes in, Arsenal team as a team just basically goes, all right, this is how it goes. Nah, you know what? What is it? Is it Holding or Chambers got hit in the face? Right? Nobody saw it.
Holding.
Guess what? The leader stands up for him and goes, you know what, referee? My man's getting hit in the face. You got to do something about that, right? We don't do that, right? They don't know to look for these things. So we're not getting any respect, and we're not asking for it, all right? And we deserve it, but we're not asking for it, all right? You can't do that. You can't, because guess what happens when we do it? It's going to be a red card, right? And they don't know that, right? Because it's like, you know what, you're missing something here. You see it all the time. Why is every other football player in the world, when they get wronged, right? They expect to get a card. They don't get it. They go to referee to say, look, you're messing up here. Arsenal, we just sit back and let it happen to us over and over and over again. No, you got to play the game, right? And everybody who's ever played any kind of sport, if they don't think the referee gave them what they expected, they let them know, all right? And sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, but they actually, make sure the referee knows that can't happen anymore, all right? That can't happen anymore, and We are.
We don't have that fire. We don't have that fire. We don't have it.
Yeah, like Tierney, you can see him. He just wants to let it out, and he can't. Right? Because he looks.
You could see.
It's the same. It's the same way as when you see Martinelli come on the pitch and he's pressing up top, and nobody else is. He just looks so out of place, right? Tierney screaming his head off because of he didn't like what was going on. Looks so different. Every other team does it. They do, because guess what? They're trying to win this match and they need it, right? Because like we said earlier, Sam, how many players are going to want to stick around for this?
Mm-hmm.
How many are going to want to stick around?
I think that's seriously one of the reasons why we can't get some of the targets we want. I think some of the targets just don't want to come to us because they see what a shit show we are at the moment. They just don't want to come. Seriously.
Yeah, normally you would have.
Before Arsenal was a big enough draw in itself because it's a big club. We've got money. Players want money, right? That's what they like money. But I think at the moment it's such a shit show that they're saying even with the money you guys can pay us or pay me, I'm not coming to that fucking shit show. Really, it's that bad.
Yeah. As Leon Chordo said, you're right, Sam. We used to be able to convince players through money, but also we used to be able to have players come to us and say, I can make the difference. I can be that one player who can make a difference because I can make the team better. I don't know if individual players now believe in that coming to Arsenal.
They probably look and see that, you know what, you come out, you play well, you sit. What did Sambi do since he's been on in a red shirt that would lead you to believe, you know what, he doesn't deserve to play? Yeah. He hadn't played in 2 games. Why? Because it was saving him for Belgium? He's not going to start there. He's not starting for Belgium. He's on the squad, but he's not starting.
No, big up to him. Like, I think, did you mention it last week, Gary? He broke into the Belgian team on the back of playing well for the first 2.
And he can't play for Arsenal.
He can't play for Arsenal.
That's the reward you get. Here you go, Sambi. I'm going to play Xhaka instead of you. And, Kolasinac, yay!
Tony, think about your man in the match. You're going to come to you in a second if you can pick anyone. Leon Chordo said, squad needs a perfect balance of youth and experienced players. We don't have the experienced players right now who play on the pitch as role models. Remember Henry, Bergkamp, and the likes of youth coming. Watch Aubameyang.
That's the starters, though. See, we need a starting 11 with an experienced lineup, right? We need to go out there and get a player who, as soon as we get him, he's the starter. There's no question of whether he needs to bed into the system. No, he needs to just play, right? That's why, I always talk about, can you just get me a starting 11, please? And then we'll work on the depth, right? We worked on the depth first, and then we filled in the starting positions after that. How? Why?
Yeah.
No team. Every team that's out there that we're playing against has a starting 11. We don't. We have 5 right backs, right? And it's either Sambi or El Neni that's going to play in that's going to play in the
Gareth Southgate model. Gareth Southgate model. You got to have
5 right backs, and we can't pick one to play every game. We played 4 matches. We've had a different right back in every one of them, I think, right?
Yeah, and we'll probably go another 35, 36 games with different lineups.
5 right backs, and you can't just pick one.
John,
he's only had the same lineup twice, hasn't he, in two seasons? So let's keep it going. Keep it going.
This is an Arsenal counselling support group, so welcome.
Close, yeah. Pull a chair up. This is Arsenal Anonymous. Ray is your
Arsenal fan counselling circle. Pull up a chair. We are all equals here.
Welcome, Glenn. You can speak freely here. No judgments will be made. But you can just speak freely. Let it all out. We are here for you. We're going to support you through this thing. We only got 35 more matches for 30 more times of this, plus another 2 or 3, depending on how we decide to play out these cup matches. So we'll be with you every step of the way.
John, thanks for finding us here. Twice a week. You'll see us here twice a week, and we're gonna heaven forbid we're gonna try and come up with some predictions for this season in this 2-week interlull. I wanted to put a tweet out saying, "Hello, interlull, my old friend."
But you know what? The intel for me is it's poor because guess what? How many players going away are going to come back? They always go and they never come back. All right.
FIFA injury report.
I'm just concerned every time they leave because they never
They'll be
come
limping.
back. Consistently, they always come back, and we always lose something. Right?
Myers, yeah. Listen, we go ahead. We go with fingers crossed, Gary, but we know what's going to happen when they come back.
Yeah, somebody's coming
relegation
back.
6-pointer.
Yeah.
Only Wolves are as bad as us, guys. Wolves haven't scored a goal either, actually. Wolves are as bad as us.
Maher is going to go to the gym and punch the S out of something. He's going to visualize. Maybe he's going to bring a print out of Arteta.
Wolves have lost 0-1. They're giving up 3 goals.
Wolves have lost. Oh, wow.
They haven't scored yet, just like us.
Yeah.
Would you guys take Eddie Howe, Graham Potter, or Hassan? Hassan, who's good.
I would take any 3 of those because I'll tell you why. All 3 of them are miles better than what Arteta is. It's easy as that.
Yeah.
As I've always said, just give me an experienced manager, right? Somebody who's actually done it before, right? That's all.
Yeah.
What's it say? For Arsenal to have a starting 11 means we actually have to have tactics in a system. No, but you know what? I don't think we have 11 players that would be part of any starting 11 that we can say can compete, right? We don't. We don't.
We have a best 11.
Xhaka and Partey is not the midfield that would be what we want. I don't think anybody would say yes to that. And we don't have a right back. So at least 2 players right there. Xhaka and whatever our right back situation is. That's an easy one. So that's what I mean when I say starting 11. If you're going to play with the players that we have, then you got to play to their strengths. We don't do that either. So then I mean, he doesn't know how to do that. Why? I don't know why he doesn't know how to do that. It's his job, right? You have 11 players. You put them out there. You put them in the best positions to succeed, and we don't do that.
Don't eat the Mars bars again. Don't eat the Mars bars. You got to take care of the shop. John Smith. John. I hope you subscribe, John. You stick around. We'll see you on future podcasts.
Yeah.
Things can only get better. Things can only get better. Maybe we've got to stop this scattergun approach to tactics and recruitment. This will only happen with a top to bottom rebuild, owners to manager, and
or at the least a decent, director of football who's going to manage all the football aspects of the club.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I believe a lot of this is down to Edu as well. I think we're seeing also what a complete and utter amateur Edu is. I mean, this guy. I don't think he knows what he's doing, or at least he thinks he does, but he's not able to do it. He just doesn't have the ability, the experience. He's got a few contacts, right? He's got that Kia. Obviously, he's got the contacts through Raul, but he just doesn't seem to have the nous, the know-how to get things done. He really doesn't. He seems to be fumbling around in the dark, just getting little things done here and there. And for me, Edu is every bit as culpable as Arteta, maybe even more, because I think Arteta's saying, listen, we need him, we need that guy. And I think they're identifying targets that they think they can get. And then I just think, it's up to Edu and his team around him to get them. And they're not able to do it, and that is on Edu's shoulders. He's just not good enough. And this is what's so, my God, every time I think about it, I just want to cry. And that is, we're run by a football club where we've got Josh Kroenke, who is the CEO of Arsenal, who has no idea about football, how to run football. He's never fucking, since he was young, watched a proper football game in his life. So he's just got and hired Edu, basically. God knows how Edu managed to blag himself into that job. And Edu's got himself a lovely first-time gig at this level, being a director or technical director of football at Arsenal, and he just can't do it. He's taking on a job he can't do. And then he's got a manager. They've got a manager in Arteta who's never been experienced. And everybody knew this is what's going to happen. How can you have someone who's never managed a football club as a manager manage something this big, and also in the turmoil we're in? It wasn't like he was taking over Man City or Chelsea. He was taking over Arsenal at a time when we were absolutely a mess and without any experience. When you look back on it, it's madness. It's absolute madness. It's because you've got people at the top who have no idea, no clue, no experience what they're doing at a football club. Just saying, okay, you do it then. You just go and do it. We'll give you the keys to the castle. Here you go. You go and do it. You run your little shop. You know, they just got no idea. They're hiring people who are all novices and amateurs. They just got no idea what they're doing. Then you've got Arteta come and he's brought in all these people around him from Man City and other places. None of them look like they know what they're doing. I mean, the coaching staff seems to be crap. Right? The coaching staff, God knows what the coaching staff is doing. And that's it. You know, this is it. It has to go. And the only saving grace in all of this is Tim Lewis. Because Tim Lewis is part of that board. I know Tim Lewis. From what I'm reading and hearing, Tim Lewis is a very vocal person who is telling people how it is and what needs to be done. And I think he's going to get into Josh Kroenke's ear now and say, listen, this is not good enough. We need to do something. And we need to change things now. And I hope it convinces Josh to say to Edu and Arteta, listen, you guys, you know, thank you for your time and your effort, but this isn't good enough. You need to go. And we need to bring in a new director of football and a new manager who can work together in bringing this ship back on course again. Because you're absolutely right. We need both. We need a director of football and we need a manager. A manager can do the basic things, I think, and get us like at least out of relegation. But if we want to get away from relegation and away from the bottom half of the table and into like the Champions League positions and things like that, we need a proper director of football to do proper recruitment and get us the players we need. We need that partnership there that works together, and that's what we don't have. And we just need to really change now as quickly as possible. And our problem with Josh Kroenke is he going to do that? Is Tim Lewis managing to convince them to do that? I think Tim Lewis is trying. I just don't know if he's getting through. That's what we need to see.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to accountability, right? You need to be accountable for everything you do. Arteta wants that from his players. That's why some players aren't here, according to him. All right. But accountability should be on Arteta as well, right? Somebody's got to ask that question. Why is Tavares playing on the right when you got four right backs, right? It's a Florida Gator shirt. So it's not.
Come on, put an Arsenal scarf or an Arsenal hat on.
You know what? I know. Why?
Well, if you're going to wear blue, you got to balance it with something.
What do you think standing behind me? I'm at the Red Bull Stadium, Arsenal versus the Red Bull many, many years ago. Henry was playing. I think.
I go grab my OE flag, Gary.
Henry, I think, scored. It was a good day for every. It was a good day. I was smiling. I got to see.
John, good to see you here, John.
Yeah.
Tony, give us anybody.
Man.
Huh?
The Kit Man.
The Kit Man was there you go.
I would give it to Leno if I had to give it to anybody.
Brian Leno. One other thing I think somebody mentioned, I think it was one of the new faces here. Leon Chordo asked, who's the role model at the club that young players could look up to, Tony?
At the moment,
I'm sure there really is one.
Give Tierney the reins, right, Sam?
Tierney, I think, is a role model, definitely. Even though he's young himself, he's got that attitude, he's got that drive.
You got to stop with that, though. That's the problem. He's not young. He's 24. Exactly. That's right where we want that player to be.
Yeah, he's young himself.
That's going to show you how to play. He's led his squad. He's won championships with his team as a leader. Yes. I mean,
he's not experienced, but he's good enough. He's good enough to be captain. He is he has the right mentality. He has the right profile. Yep. Yes. Even though he is young, he's good enough. That was my point. And he should definitely be a role model for our players. Definitely.
And we have a lot of players younger than him. Watch him now. You just have to. You don't even have to. He doesn't even have to say anything to you. You just have to watch him and see how he plays and his fire when he's on the pitch, right?
Gary, what did you see in his body language at the end of the game yesterday, Gary? He didn't look great.
Arsenal wears you down. Arsenal wears you down. It beats it out of you. You come in all ready to go, and then Arsenal just beats you down, beats it out of you. Right? We see it. We see it with the players come in. They look really good. This it's like, why are they playing like this? You used to do this the other day, and now we don't. And I think it just wears on you, and it wears you down. And you know what? It's gonna keep happening until somebody says, you know what, we got to change this, and it's not happening. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, the team Arsenal is wearing down its players, and it's going to get old. I'm not going to want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody's having fun out there. I understand you might lose some big ones where we are today, but they're not enjoying playing football. Right? They're out there getting put in situations to make them look silly, and guess what? They look silly. Right? You don't like that. That's like, you're punishing your players. That's what Arteta is doing. I always talk about like the leagues punishing, they punish their teams when they kind of brought in all this international money. And now all the fans are going, why is the situation like this? Well, you know what? The league said we needed more money and went out and got it. Right. And now they're seeing the repercussions of it. Nobody likes that. Same thing with Arsenal, right? Arsenal should be, you put the shirt on, you play your heart out 110% every game. Now, what player plays 100%, much less 110? All right, barely any. Right?
Yeah.
You get a goal scored on you, and 50% of effort for the rest of the match. Sometimes it seems. All right. Fans are trying their hardest, but it's just they're getting worn down as well from what they see day in and day out. It's hard to cheer for a team that doesn't even want to go out there and do the work. All right. Yeah. So somebody was asking about my show. Can I let them know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
also check you out on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I haven't put anything out on YouTube. It's been really busy here. Maybe I'll put one up probably after the international break. But yeah, I've got a show on the Red Cannon, Scott, for any of you guys who know that. It's me, Sam, Matt, and then we have our guest panelists. And actually this week is interesting. We got Ray coming on the show. So it'll be so I'll have guests on every week. So I'll be
Ray will be bringing his Lucky Charms with him.
Yeah. So for those that know Matt, he's supposed to, everybody wants to see him kind of go crazy. So we might see that. But it's a good show. We'll talk about basically
I've seen a little bit of it. Matt seems to be pretty calm and collected, right?
Yeah, he's been calm, and that's not the guy. So maybe he'll open up. This is show number 2. So 7:30 on the East Coast of the U.S., 12:30 a.m. in the U.K.
Yep.
Otherwise, you watch the replay. But yeah, that's the show. But yeah, no, like I said, I think Arsenal is wearing down the players, right?
Wearing down all of us,
all the fans as well.
It's not wearing down Gary. He's still on every Arsenal podcast on TV.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't do as many as I want to do. It is nothing. You were saying the same things over and over again, right?
That's Tony. Come back next week. You'll be saying the same thing.
No, we have 2 weeks of
for 40.
Yeah. We have 2 weeks to sit here, and maybe you might see something good from Xhaka and Tierney and Sambi when they go out on international duty, right?
Yeah.
I guess we'll see the true Xhaka, right? Because he knows he's out for
the real grind.
Basically, he's out he's out until probably sometime mid-September, probably, right? So he's gonna play his heart out,
John Smith's been ranting on Twitter. Give me a follow at Arsenal Circle, John, if you want, and you'll find all the other guys here as well. Want to get through a couple other things. I'll get to that question in a second. The assembled. We're going to close things out now. Why is El Neni and Kolasinac still at the club? What buffoonery is this to give Granit Xhaka a new contract? The one thing we wanted to do this summer was to get a partner for Partey in midfield. It didn't happen at all. Lacazette's not good for your mental health. People were saying Leno was our best player yesterday, which I disagree with. Thought he should have dealt with the cross for the first goal. He doesn't command his box, which Gary had said earlier, at all. He doesn't communicate, and I'm starting to see Ramsdale is probably going to be a better option moving forward. stupid players we have now are playing for paychecks. They've forgotten about the badge. Definitely. Would have been 7 or 8 if it wasn't for Leno. 7 or 8 goals.
The only reason why it would have been 7 or 8 is because we were down a man. It would have been 5, I believe, if we didn't get the red card. That's what I believe. I mean, I think 7 is because of he did stop a couple, but we were probably giving up 5 no matter what, right? And 7 was definitely because of the red card. Thank you there, John.
Yeah, and listen, Sam, Gary, and I got into it a little bit earlier about the officials. We would have lost 5-0, but I think we have to hold the officials to account. And we've met up right now, Sam. We're good, right?
Yes.
Until next time, we're going to do a prediction podcast. This will be where Tony will predict something and then deny that he said it for the rest of the season.
Or forget he said it for the entire fucking season. Hey, I did get my most predictions right.
Even though he did get some of the predictions correct, he will deny that he ever said some of them as well. You know what I mean? Tony, true or false?
False.
Well, so let me tell you something. The captain of the Titanic had definitely been on a boat before, I'll tell you that.
Oh my God!
Whereas the captain we've got hasn't been on a boat before, so let's put it that way.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Ray, will the Arteta in and the devil's advocate to make the other guests rage? Was the Arteta in? Listen, I originally have been Arteta in. Now I'm coming around to where Gary started. I'm Arsenal in. I'm not necessarily.
Have to be so diplomatic.
No, but you know what? The reason why I say that is because I want what's best for the team. And right now, give me the best for the team. And if that means Arteta has to go, he's got to go. But who's making that decision? Right?
Yeah.
Who's making that decision? They don't want to make that decision because guess what? It's difficult because guess what? Then they have to go out and get somebody else in. And who's making that decision? So now we're taxing them with work, over and over again. You got to do your job. So you're going to have to better your team. So you got to go fire a coach, bring in another one. Wow, that's just too much work. I mean, we can't even sell any of our players. I mean, how are we supposed to bring in a manager? Right? Think about it. We can't sell our players, but we're going to go out there and say, you know what? Director of
we
football,
got rid of William.
Coach, manager, we can't do that either.
Big up William. Got to say that. Big up William for canceling his contract. Probably never will see that.
Actually, you know what? He showed what a professional footballer should show. Is that if you want to play football, that's your career. You want to play football, okay, you do what you can to play football, right? Yeah. And that's what he needed to do. That's what pisses me off about Ozil and so many other of these big players. They're just frauds. They don't want to play football. They just want to cash in their money and be these big, these big fucking social media icons. And Ozil, that's what ruined Ozil's career because he can't get a game for Fenerbahce. He's sitting there on the bench of Fenerbahce. The fans already hate him. That's why he's sending out bitter Twitter messages about the process. He can't even get a game for Fenerbahce because instead of leaving to play football like he should have when Arteta decided he wasn't good enough to play for us anymore, he just sat around and sulked for a season and took his paycheck and created crap in the dressing room and a crap, environment for our entire team. He was a complete arsehole, basically. Where Willian, okay, he's been a flop. He's a crap football player for us. Really unfortunate. Really hasn't worked out for us. But he is going to do the right thing now. And he's going to move on and play football because he wants to play football. And that, to me, gives him a lot of credit in my eyes.
Fair play to him. It didn't work out here. And we can say that it didn't work out. Even though Arteta did, as I said earlier, flog that horse to death. The appeal of Arsenal right now is like selling a house with a sinkhole in the garden. So I want to thank my panel of guests here who come on in the worst of worst times for Arsenal. We're breaking all records, but not good ones.
Arteta said he'd break records, Ray. He didn't say which.
Yeah, this is first, as you said, this is the first time in football history that the top and the bottom of the table look like it does today.
Yeah, and it's dark.
Football history.
You know what? In 100 years' time, way in the future, when people look back at Arsenal history and just like, not in detail, but like, you know, like we look back at now, we talk about Herbert Chapman's period and all of that in the 30s, right? They're gonna talk about this period. Oh, there was this manager for about 2.5 seasons. His name was Mikel Arteta. And you know what? He broke all the records. He was a record-breaking manager. And people were, oh, yeah. He just broke all the fucking wrong records. He just broke all the worst records ever in the club. So, yeah, it's going to be that's what he's going to be remembered for. Going to be remembered for breaking all the wrong records.
The ownership loved them. Listen, thanks to all of you and Mahir, of course, for joining. Slap a like on the video. And if you liked what you see, Gary's going to invite 2 of us back tomorrow. And as Gary said, come and join us over at the Red Cannon.
All we need is more Gary.
More Gary. Don't wear blue tomorrow, Gary.
All right, I won't wear blue. I'll probably wear black because, you know, it's almost the end of the window, and who knows what it's also the end of.
And stay tuned. Listen, I didn't advertise, but it's great to have 12, a steady supply of people watching today. Not going to shout from the rooftops because we're not doing anything. We're bottom of the league, and the only way is up, Sam.
Yeah, it's been a good podcast. It's always a good laugh with you guys. We always have some good therapy. We get it off our chest. The chat is always awesome with people like Mr. Bungle and the Assembled and Leonchardo, John Smith, Revanite. Big up Revanite, John. May I haven't seen you for a long time. Nice to see you, my friend. Steve Denham, you know, all the regulars that are there. I don't need to name them all. They know who they are. Fantastic. Always create a good atmosphere.
No dictatorship talk this week.
And it's been really good. Always have a good laugh. So thanks again for having me, Mr. Bungle. Get Granny Norma ready. I'll join in with you. We'll have some fun. And
Sam,
looking forward to tomorrow.
Box? Where's your juice box?
The juice box is ready to go, and got it for later. Yeah, and so come and watch me and Ray again tomorrow on Gary's show on the Red Cannon. It'll be good fun.
I'll be answering the questions, not this show.
Yeah, then Ray won't have to worry about hosting. Then he can just answer and sweat there like a Catholic priest in a choir. We'll, just because we'll get all the questions digging into him. So we're going to dig in really, really deep in there tomorrow. Hooker in church, yeah. So thanks guys for everything. It's been great, and hope to see you guys again soon.
I got to answer this one real quick because the Assemble called me out for not answering his questions. Out of respect, should Arteta resign? He wants Arsenal to sack him. He still isn't leading. Should he resign? No, I think it's too early to do that yet.
Should he resign?
Yeah.
If he had any decency, he would.
After 3 games.
Does it look like it's working? Does it look like it's working? Does it look like the players want to play for him? Man.
No, it doesn't look like it right now, Sam.
Can I get my say before we go?
Don't forget, this is still preseason.
Come on, I got to close it out here.
All right, so let me get my say then. Everyone in the chats, thank you for joining.
Go ahead.
Ray, Tony, Sam, thanks for being on. If Arsenal was a proper football team, they would have made a change already. That's the problem. Whether Arteta resigns or not, that doesn't. The only way he's resigning is if his agent comes to Arsenal and says, "You know what? You guys know it's not working. We know it's not working. Buy him out and let us go, and you guys can try this again." You know, that's the only thing that's going to happen. And then they can mutually decide to sever ties and move on. But Arsenal's not going to do that because they're going to have to go out and get another manager, and he's going to have to be. Everybody's going to expect him to be ambitious and want to win stuff, and they don't want to. They don't. So sorry. That's where we are, I think. But
only 3 games. Come on, he needs to go now.
It's not only 3 games, is it? That's the thing, though. It's not only 3 games. He had a whole season last season.
I think he's questioning me what I said. John is. I got that 1 chip. Let me.
It's not even the 3 games. It's from the start of this when the season ended to now. Yeah. What has improved enough to say, you know what, he's doing his job?
I don't cash my chips in. I played him till the bitter end.
You bury him into your shoulders.
Tony C, hello, Sam and Gary. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're out of here. Please slap a like on the video. Please come and see us over at the Red Cannon. Gary's going to make me feel very uncomfortable tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time or 12:30 UK time. So, yeah, John Smith, that's why I'm broke. But I'm rich in so many other ways.
You're broke because you eat all them fucking Lucky Charms.
Hey, come back and see us Thursday nights and Sundays, just like now, and
Tomorrow you get to see Sam with his juice box, and
like I
Gary
said,
with
we're gonna
coconut
do
water
a coconut water juice box.
and
Tony,
Ray
make
Lucky Charms.
it's all here. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Come on, you Gooners. The only way is up from here on out.